Alright, we should be off here shortly. So, right off the bat, before they get going, there is one glitch that we use in Final Fantasy 1 PSP, and it is known as the equipment glitch. And it will be used heavily throughout this run, and I'll explain it multiple times. First one is coming straight up off the bat, but hopefully we see a close race here. Alright, and they are off. So, here we see them enter the weapon shop, and they buy a hammer. And they're going to mess with some configurations and set the cursor to memory. And this allows the equipment glitch to work. So, you'll see that they're moving their cursor on everybody but the warrior to the glove slot. And then they're changing really fast between the warrior and other people, and it messes with the IDs. So when it tries to load the glove slot, it gives them the warrior IDs and allows them to actually get knight's armor pretty quickly, and it's a piece of equipment from later on in the game. And they do that for all their characters, and then they create an extra one to sell to afford potions. So that'll be the equipment glitch. It'll be used a lot. And it's specifically for going as fast as possible. So this is a cutscene we can't skip. They'll be leaving, and they'll be heading north up to the Chaos Shrine. And we have to defeat Garland. He kidnapped the princess. We're warriors of light. Gotta take down the bad guy. However, we will be making a detour right as soon as we enter the Chaos Shrine, and that will be to get the leather cap. Reason being, we're going to do another equipment glitch, and we're going to get what is called the Judgment Staff. And while it's not all that powerful physically, which is what we'll be using it for here at the start, it has a special property that if you use it as an item, it casts Flare, or Nuke if you play the NES version. So, same properties, except for they'll be going from the helmet slot to the weapon slot, and it just messes with IDs. And that's how they get the Judgment Staff. And from there, they're going to go fight Garland and knock him down. Getting some unfortunate encounters on the way there, but still a pretty good time. So here on rename screen, we'll see that he's just going to hold X and kind of just hit him. A lot more damage than the starting equipment, and even the ones that you can buy in Cornelia. Judgment Staff just dominates it. And we'll be seeing Boxmeister do the exact same thing. And Garland has a item that he can drop called the Longsword, which if you're casually playing, it's alright. We don't want it. It messes up our menus. Neither one of them got it. Okay, cool. So, the sequence that renames in, we talk to the princess because unlike older versions of the game, I think except for GBA, if you try to leave, the game will let you. This one will not. You have to grab the loot. So we talk to the princess. It's faster than the characters turning around slowly and walking back. So just a little bit of a time save there. Other than that, whenever we leave, we get this cutscene that's on a rename screen, and it's completely unskippable. We just mash through the text as quickly as we can. So we'll be seeing quite a bit of these unskippable cutscenes. Not too much, but there are a few. So here we see Rename leave Cornelia, and now we can leave this part of the continent, since we now have a bridge, and we can head to the other part. But going across the bridge, we trigger this cutscene. The fade in is unskippable. After it fades in, we can skip the rest of it. I know other versions have to watch that cutscene, and I do believe all of them, except for this one, has to. But here we will be seeing them make their way to Provoca. Unfortunately, they have to step on forest tiles, and when it comes to the encounter rates, we can't really manipulate them. Forest tiles have higher encounters, marsh tiles have lower encounters, so we try to stick off forest tiles as much as possible, but that's not always able to be done. Unfortunate wolf encounter from Boxmeister. Wolves are really hard to run from early game, but here we see Rename enter Provoca, and he shall be talking to Vic the pirate, and this will be the first use of Judgment Staff as an item. And Flare, which is what Judgment Staff casts, takes around 8 seconds, and it's just, we don't like to use it a lot, but it's really nice early game. So we shall be seeing Boxmeister do the same, and I do believe both of them use the same route, and we will be wanting a leather shield to drop. Otherwise, we can just buy it, but Rename did not get leather shield, so he may be buying one from Provoca here. Opting to buy one. Okay. Boxmeister did not get one as well, so we will be seeing if he opts to buy one. There is one route that does not use leather shield, but it's an older route. Box opting to buy leather shield as well, so looks like they will both be on the same route, which is good for me, commentating wise. But currently we have 3 different routes. They all go approximately the same speed, just varying degrees of safety per se. The original route was the Barbarian Sword route, and we used it and we just hacked and slashed our way through enemies using Judgment Staff for unrunnables. The one I do believe both of them are on is the Lust Dagger route, which uses more items as spells, and then there is another route that actually uses spells. We do grab a couple of spells, but not this early. So we see Rename stopping in Elfheim for gold needles. It is a race safety. We have had some people skip gold needles and then get petrified, and gold needles is the only thing outside of spells that get you out of petrification. And it's caused a couple forfeits, but opting for the safety. Box opting not to go there yet. He still has 2 more chances to grab gold needles, and I'm pretty sure he will. But they're making their way to Marsh Cave. Story-wise, if you've played Final Fantasy 1, after knocking down Garland, typically whenever you cross the bridge, you go straight to Matoya's cave, and she complains that her crystal eye is missing, and then you go to Provoca, and it's like, oh hey, pirates are ruining the city. So you fight the pirates, you get a ship, and then you come to Elfheim and realize the elf prince is in a coma. That you go north to the Western Keep, and there's an elderly king that's just like, oh, well, I need my crown. And you have to go to the Marsh Cave to get his crown. I do not know what's happening on Boxmeister's screen here. So I guess I'll be holding off on Boxmeister's commentary. But so Rename is in Marsh Cave, and we're going to get the crown. opting to go into the cottage room. Not opting to heal up before the Pisco Demon fight. This is a forced encounter. Very scary one if you don't heal up, because characters can die. But we're just going to Judgment Staff them. It's an easy... Ooh. Looks like Boxmeister had a PSP crash. Okay. But, so here we will be seeing a little bit of healing, and it'll be the last time that you'll be seeing Rename heal his warrior and his thief. And generally only if they're below 20 HP. But the reason that is we need it later on because we have to grind experience for mages. And Box is trying to get himself set back up. Unfortunately, because we don't have any safety saves at this point, he will be starting from the beginning. But Rename just having a little bit of bad encounter luck on his way back out. And he shall be going to the Western Keep to try to give the old king that we've never talked to his crown back. However, whenever we give the crown, he turns into the Dark Elf Astos. Ooh, and this looks to be unfortunate. So an update on Boxmeister's side. It looks like his PSP crashed and then his TV crashed, and it looks like he's forfeited. Rename is asking if there needs to be a restart, because we're only 10 minutes in. Yeah, Box forfeited. His PSP crashed, then his TV crashed. What we're seeing on the screen is actually what he had posted in our Discord, and that's what his actual TV looks like too. So I guess we're gonna try to see if he can fix it, and then we may restart the race. If we do, that'd be great. I really do hate seeing forfeits. Rename is saying that yeah, if he can get his stuff fixed, he agrees to a restart. So we may be seeing a restart here. So we are waiting to see if we can get anything from staff here real quick. See if we can get a reset. If Box can get his stuff fixed. However, Rename's going to continue on for right now. Astos is a bit of a scary fight. Can't actually cast Death, which you did on the Warrior, which is the most opportune party member to do that on. But Judgment Staffs and melee attacks typically just whittle him down and he dies pretty easily. After that, he drops the Crystal Eye, which we have to take back to Matoya. And Speed Gaming staff says they're all for it as well. So we may be seeing a reset. So opting to revive his warrior, and then actually opting to heal up his thief all the way. But here we will see rename, make the trip back to Elfheim, and then pass it to his boat. And hopefully not too many encounters on the way, though as I say that, an encounter happens. Oh, and it looks like we do have a fix on Boxmeister's side. It was his cable. So we're trying to see what's going on Boxmeister's side. Sahagin are a pretty bad encounter. We joke a lot about boat encounters, how hard they are to run from. However, it's simply because they're on a boat. You're on a boat. You can't run from them on the boat. Opting to leave his warrior poisoned. But we will be seeing him run from pretty much all the encounters. Unlike other versions of the game, we don't have to grind too much outside of one specific spot. And okay, we may have a fix. But other than that, just trying to go up to Matoya's cave, give her back her eye. Oh, and we have Box's screen back. So we may be having a restart. Yep. So it looks like we'll be having a restart. Okay. So it looks like we have to set up a new race channel. Nope. Never mind. Okay, cool. So Box opting to name his characters Box got tech issues, as with having tech issues. And for those that don't know, because his screen does say Box got issues tech, he will be swapping the mages. So we'll say Box got tech issues. Okay, so what do we got from rename here? Chaos Shrine be nice. Okay. And it doesn't look like he's actually swapping the mages here, so that'll be interesting. He may do that in game, which does cost a little bit of time. Okay, so they should be off again any second here. But I do believe this is actually our first reset of the tournament. So okay, so second verse time is first. Going in, buying the hammer, putting the cursor to memory. That way they can dupe some ID values and grab Knight's armors pretty quickly. In this tournament or in the NES randomizer? Because each of the games have their own different categories and own different things that they've got going on. It looks like both of them having actually a bit of party issues. Yeah, the PSP version typically just sticks with the Warrior Thief, Black Mage, White Mage, simply because we need it for the ID values for the equipment glitch. I don't believe we have any category that runs just Thieves. NES Randomizer may do so. I'm not entirely sure. But here we will be seeing them make the trip back up to Chaos Shrine. Hopefully not getting too many encounters. Yeah, PSP version just typically sticks with the party that we've got on the screen. The GBA version uses Warrior, 2 Red Mages, and a White Mage. And then I don't really know about the NES or PS1 versions. I don't run them. I don't actually run the GBA version. I just picked up the notes. But they will be grabbing the leather cap here, and that is to recreate the Judgment Staff. Reason being, not a lot of physical damage. However, it casts Flare, and Flare is really nice to have. So we will be seeing them use that on Garland to knock him down, or at least smacking him with the staff. And both getting wolves, unfortunate. Wolves are extremely hard to run from, especially with Knight's Armor, because Knight's Armor actually decreases your agility, I do believe. And it makes things harder to run from. So here they're just going to hold X and smack him a couple of times, and he'll go down. Then after that, they grab the princess, and they'll automatically warp back to Cornelia, not have to go through all of the encounters. King will say some stuff, talk about rebuilding the bridge, and then they have to talk to Sarah, otherwise she'll stop them before they can leave and try to give them the loot. So now that they got the loot, we won't see this until really late in the game. All of the key items in this game are one and done. So we don't get to see them for very long. Back at the bridge screen, we can't skip this. We can just mash through it as quickly as possible and hope it goes faster than last time. But from here, they will be leaving Cornelia, and they will be traveling north across that bridge, where they will get stopped by another cutscene. Its fade in is unskippable. It's after it fades in, you can skip the rest of it. But I do believe other versions you can't skip it. I know at least the GBA notes say that you have to watch it. But this version, we don't have to. And from here, they will be going to Provoca and grabbing a boat again. Hopefully they get better luck than their first part of this match, and they actually get some other shield drops, because we will be needing those for an equipment glitch later on. Ooh, Box getting some unfortunate wolves, 7 of which. And I guess now would be a perfect time to talk about how encounters work in this game. You'll see at the start of a battle that it'll say either preemptive strike, ambushed, or nothing. Ambushed is something we never want to see, especially in a group of 9. All 9 enemies get a turn before we get a chance to even move. And it just takes up a lot of time. Preemptive strikes, however, we want to see, because even if the enemy is unrunnable, we can run from it with a preemptive strike. So we're hoping for preemptive strikes pretty much at all times. Game will not give that to us, but we hope for it. And here we are seeing rename Nuke Pirates. And Boxmeister will be doing the same thing. Getting a leather shield this time, so he can skip the shop there. So we'll hope that Boxmeister gets the exact same luck. I really do like seeing close races. Just makes it more fun to commentate. Not getting a leather shield there. So that's unfortunate. That will put Rename in a tiny bit of a lead, depending on NPC RNG, because NPCs do like to block paths. It's an unfortunate thing, like right there. It is an unfortunate thing, and realistically, we can't get them to move any faster. So we got that. Going on to Elfheim on rename screen to buy gold needles. Again, they allow you to break out of the petrification, and petrification is something we don't want. A full team petrification can game over you, and we really don't want to see that. Box getting a very unfortunate 9 encounter of Sahagin and Sahagin Chiefs. So in this situation that Box is in, typically what we do is we set everybody but 1 or 2 of them to flee, and then the others we actually have used the judgment staff just to get rid of them. It's a lot quicker than continuously trying to run. That 8 seconds saves quite a bit of animation time, and it's just easier to do that at times than it is to sit through animations trying to run. Here we see Rename re-entering Marsh Cave, going down to get the crown. That way we can give it to some old guy that we've never met. And he turns evil. But gotta do it. Need an eye. Fetch quest. And realistically, the entire fetch quest is to allow us access to the other portions of the game, because we're actually landlocked in this small area where we have maybe 4 dock tiles that we can go onto. And that's the thing about the boat in this game, is you can only dock it at dock tiles. You can't dock it just at any piece of land like other games. You can also dock it at rivers, but that'll come later. So here we see Rename at the Pisco Demon fight, opting not to heal up again. And thankfully they all attack the warrior. Which is a good thing that he had so much HP. But when it comes to battles, the way it works for whenever they attack, first spot has a 50% chance of being attacked. Second slot 25, and then third and fourth slot are 12.5. So generally we'll see the warrior getting attacked the most, but not always the case. Final Fantasy 1 does Final Fantasy 1 things. And Box getting bat blocked when he was trying to go left there. Not too big of a time loss, but something we never want to see is NPCs block our way. So they high-fived on the way between floors, and Rename is on his way out. Box is on his way to the crown, but opting to actually heal up his party to full. And as I said previously, this will be the last time we will see the warrior and the thief healed up to full for quite a while. Reason being is we need them to die later on, post lich, and it's simply for mage XP, because whenever you get XP in this game, it splits it across all surviving members of the party at the end of battle. So if you get 2,000 experience points, they each get 500. But if you have 2 dead, the 2 remaining people get 1,000. So it helps us grind a little bit. Unfortunately, getting poisoned on the Black Mage. But here we see Rename in Astos. And we will be seeing him attack and then use Judgment Staffs. We're hoping for a physical from Astos, but death is not that bad as long as it's on the warrior. We prefer it to be on the warrior if it happens. That way all of our other people get better XP. Oh, and there we go. Any EXP that we gain for the Black Mage and White Mage is nice. And the Thief as well. Because by the end of the game, we're hoping for certain HP levels. Ooh, this is not good on Boxmeister's screen. Opting to run instead of trying to use Judgment Staff. And a paralysis lock would be very bad. Okay, there we go. That was scary for a second. Rename now grabbing the crystal eye, and he will be taking it to Matoya. And grabbing the Jolt Tonic to wake up the Elf Prince. The reason he healed up there is because anytime that we have the Warrior and the Thief under 20, we kind of want to heal them. We want them to be between 20 and 70 for a spell later that will hit them. Or we hope will hit them. And just completely wipe those 2 out. But so far, Rename has got good HP rolls. We're hoping around the 250 range for the Black Mage and the Thief, just for safety versus the final boss. And here we see Box going into the Astos fight as well. And getting a physical attack. So Astos will be down in one turn on Box's screen. And we shall be going on from there. Rename getting Unfortunate Wolves. Hopefully we don't see too many more of those. Opting to leave his character poison. Box getting the crystal eye as well, and unfortunately getting stuck on one of the bats. And Wolf RNG. So here we see Rename sailing back up, and he will be going back to Matoya's cave simply for giving her the crystal eye again and getting the Jolt Tonic. And we need that for another part of this fetch quest. Jolt Tonic wakes up the Elf Prince and allows us to grab the Mystic Key. And we need that simply because the fact that there is a storeroom back in Cornelia which had a locked door with some locked chests. And the Mystic Key allows us to open up any locked door and any locked chest. So casually, anything that was blocked, like there's a door and a chest in Chaos Shrine that were blocked, and you have to have the Mystic Key to get to them. We will not be going back for that. We absolutely don't need those items. Box still opting not to grab gold needles. He will probably do it on his way back. But here we see Montoya's cutscene again, and she's just tripping over everything because she can't see without her eye. And we give it back to her. She grabs us the strongest tonic in her arsenal, or the herb if you play NES. And from there, we will be going back to Elfheim, which hopefully we see Boxmeister at that point grab gold needles. So Box in the cutscene that we just seen on Rename screen. And Rename is now on his way back to Elfheim. Gotta grab that Mystic Key. And one of the perks to having the Mystic Key is it actually unlocks the Elfheim storage room for us. Oh, and got Broom Block there. Which we need to grab the Mithril Hammer, which we actually turn into Thieves' Gauntlets, or Thieves' Armlets. And they offer us an extra 5 agility on top of better stat boosts than the Knight's Armor gives us. And it just allows us to run from things a little bit quicker. And it's very useful in that regard. So we see Rename going up talking to the attendant here. Box is on his way back down. And in case anybody was wondering who's in the lead, it's hard to say. Like, Rename's obviously visually in the lead, but Final Fantasy 1 can do whatever it wants, and the lead can shift at any time. So, Rename just got the Mystic Key, and he will be leaving out the side and then re-entering. Reason being is it's quicker than walking all the way around. So here we will be seeing him grab the Mithril Hammer and equipping the Thieves' Armlets on everybody. Having a bit of bad luck there. But here we see that Box is caught up a little bit. Menuing here could swing who's in front. The equipment glitch is I do believe, frame perfect. You have to hit L or R and the X button at the same time in order to execute the glitch, as well as having everything on the right position. And the reason that they're not putting anything on the shield position is because the fact that most pieces of item don't have a blocking animation attached to them. There are a few that do that we will use later on, but anything else will actually lock up the game anytime that you get attacked and that animation triggers. And we do actually see Box grabbing his gold needles. So grabbing it at the last possible moment. And Rename grabbed the Mithril Knife and the Nitro Powder. And the reason those are important is later on there will be multiple pieces of equipment that come from the items that we've picked up. We're going to see the leather shield used here shortly, and it will turn into the Mage's Staff, if I am correct. Let me actually look that up. Yes, the leather shield goes into the Mage's Staff, and then the Mithril Knife that they got will be going into the Black Robe. And the reason being is it just affords us some more stuff that we don't have to use the Judgment Staff for. Flare's animation is a long time, and if we can shorten that by any means, we want to. So here we will be seeing them go all the way over to Mount Durgar. Very explosive group of dwarves who want Nitro Powder to blow up a canal. Realistically, no. We glitch pretty much everything. There is one piece of equipment that we get that we do want to use, and it's the ribbon. So we actually have to glitch it to get the Gigantax, and then we glitch it back for the ribbon. But otherwise, no. Reason being is the equipment that we can glitch is stronger than any that we can buy, and we want to go fast. So anytime that we can go as fast as possible, we will go as fast as possible. So, especially in the next town, they will be glitching for the Barbarian Sword, which anybody who's played older versions of the game, Excalibur is the best weapon. Barbarian Sword beats it by like 2.5 to 3 times. So, yeah, any time that we can anytime that we can go fast, we will go fast. And yeah, not a problem. Feel free to ask questions if you're curious about anything. I will try to answer them to the best of my ability. But here we see them pretty much neck and neck. Box was a little bit behind, but Final Fantasy 1 RNG is Final Fantasy 1 RNG. So we will be seeing them leave and then crossing the canal that was just made. And that allows them to go to Melmond. And Melmond is actually the first place that you can buy the Knight's armor, except for we've already gotten it from Hammers. So we will not be buying Knight's armor, or we will be buying steel gloves there. And those turn into our favorite item for our warriors and our thieves, the barbarian sword. And realistically, it just allows us to demolish enemies pretty quickly. However, you will be also seeing a mage's staff equipped as well. And that's simply because we want that item, especially for Cavern of Earth. If we get anything that's hard to run from, we can use Mage's Staff instead of Judgment Staff, unless it's Pisco Demons. Mage's Staff casts Fiora, which is the 2nd level fire spell, and it takes quite a bit shorter time than the Judgment Staff's Flare. So we opt to use it instead of using magic. Box grabbing his steel gloves for barbarian sword. Grabbing his mage staff as well. And here we see Rename entering Batcave. It is called the Cavern of Earth. I call it the Batcave because tons of bats and they can block your path. They are on the same plane that the player is. Ooh, and that looks like an unfortunate ambush on Rename's side. That'll allow Box to catch up. And his thief dying. But bats, they are pretty bad NPCs. We do not like them. Or at least the runners of this game do not like them. Box looking to be getting a good bat RNG there. But coming up, the next floor for both of them is a scary floor. Typically, we safety save at the start of it. Simply because you can get ambushed by cockatrices, and if you do and there's more than 3 of them and they full team petrify you, it's a game over. No amount of gold needles in your inventory will help you. So Box having a fairly clean floor 2. Rename getting some very unfortunate encounters. Thankfully, no cockatrices yet. No unrunnables. Box actually getting an unrunnable. And on Rename screen, we are getting our first real mini boss. I don't count the Pisco Demons a mini boss, but we can talk about the vampire for a little bit. This will be our first use of the barbarian sword, and that is the vampire fight. That is how crazy the barbarian sword is. So we will be seeing that used for pretty much the rest of this run. Here we are on our second fetch quest. It's a very short one. We grab the Star Ruby, we feed it to a giant, and he allows us to go to the Sage's Cave to talk to Sada to get the Earth Rod. Box is now fighting the vampire. We'll see if he gets a clean vampire fight. Very clean vampire fight. And here we see Rename opting to use Mage's Staff on these wraiths. They can paralyze you, and paralocks are not very fun. So opting to antidote his warrior and his thief on Rename's side. And they'll both be making their way out of the Bat Cave. Both getting pretty bad encounters. So Rename getting a Pisco Demon fight. It's not too bad because we do have Judgment Staff. Other versions of the game, it's one that we don't want to see. But Rename will be making his way out of Earth Cave, and so will Box. And they're just hoping for the least amount of encounters that they can possibly get. There is a way to leave the Earth Cave early. Some of our runners actually opt to do it. And when you're on the ship, if you hold, I do believe it's cross and then hit circle 22 times, or vice versa, it pops up the 15 puzzle minigame. And if you get the second place time, you have a 1 in 6 chance of getting an item called Emergency Exit, and that just allows you to instantly exit a dungeon. Some of the runners in the tournament have opted to do the puzzle, but for the rest of us, we really don't. After like 1 or 2 times, it's actually slower, so we just opt to leave Cavern of Earth normally and just hope for the best. So here on Rename's side, we see him giving the Star Ruby to the Giant, and Box will be doing the same thing. And then they'll be going to the cave down south to get the Earth Rod. And we need that to complete the rest of Cavern of Earth. There was a slab blocking our passageway that the Earth Rod actually does remove. So unfortunately, it creates a 2-part Earth Cave for us. No way to get past that so far. So we just deal with it the best we can. But they're pretty much neck and neck at the moment, and that's a very good encounter for both of them. They both got preemptives there. So for Rename opting to leave on accident, but this is what I was talking about Final Fantasy 1 RNG. Box is actually in the lead at the moment, but anything can happen until Chaos is downed. It's anybody's race at this point, unless something major happens. And they'll be making their way back through the Giant's Cavern, back over to the Cavern of Earth. Simply to try to go down to the bottom and defeat. Constantly hoping for good RNG. Rename almost getting an encounterless Giant's Cave there. And to anyone watching wanting to pick up this game, we do have a Discord, we do have guides. Emulator and console are both accepted. Very friendly community. We do have a command for that. But definitely, if this run interests you, pick it up. It is a very fun speedrun at times. Can be frustrating with RNG. But as long as you go into it and you're just wanting to play fast and have fun, you'll be fine. So there we've seen a little bit of route divergence. There are 2 different pathways that you can get to the third base Smitten, Cavern of Earth, and they both took them. Opting not to safety save on Box's screen. Rename also opting not to safety save. So this could actually be scary. Just hoping for the best here. And they are pretty much tile for tile at the moment. Or they were. Rename actually having a really good third baseman. And here we will be seeing the first and last use of the Earth Rod. And it's specifically to get rid of that slab. Ooh, Box getting some bad RNG there. So there are multiple paths through floor 4 here. And realistically, there's a tiny bit of a difference between the like 3 different paths that we have. A couple of steps here and there. But here we see Rename on floor 5 and Box making his way through floor 4. And saving right before Lich. Reason being is there's really not much we can do if Lich breaks out of Blizzara. And Blizzara is generally a party wipe. Simply because we don't have any magic defense at this point in the game. So here we will be seeing Rename just attacking, and unfortunately a Blizzara. So maybe nope. I was gonna say maybe the White Mage will live, but nope. That is a reset, and that allows Box a little bit of time to catch up. But you'll be seeing them use the Barbarian Sword simply because of the fact that Lich only has 1,200 HP. And as you can see, or as you've seen on Rename screen, if you're watching that one. Ooh, and another... Jeez, another Blizzara. Barbarian Swords do a lot of damage. So... Box is hoping for a cleaner fight, and getting it. But you'll notice that we're not using the mages to attack, and that's because they still have jet staffs on for this point in the game. Older routes, you use Barbarian Sword on everybody. And there we go, Rename getting his 2 Blizzara kill. So that's good. But here we will be seeing an unskippable cutscene. Crystal lights up, and then we see a bonus dungeon from the GBA version being unlocked. And these are unskippable. We will be seeing these 3 more times throughout the run. But they really don't take up too much time. And then they will be leaving through the teleporter behind the crystal. So from here, they're going to go back to the boat, and they're going to sail down and then to the left to go to Crescent Lake. And the reason we're going there is because of the fact that we needed to grab Mithril Axe, and I do believe Mithril Gloves. I don't actually have my notes up. Yes, Mithril Gloves. And the reason being is we need gloves for the Lust Dagger, which increases agility by quite a bit, and that'll be going on the mages. And then we need the axe for Black Garbs, which are better than the Thieves' Armlets. And you will also be seeing a Black Robe being created, specifically for the fact that it casts Blizzara, and that'll be needed before long. We hope it won't be needed, but it'll probably be needed. It's better to have it than to not have it. So you will also be seeing them buy ethers, because we will actually start using spell soon. We only buy 3 spells, and 2 of them are for the black mage, 1 of them is for the white mage. And we will be doing that after our grinding, which is actually coming up. That's the reason why you won't see them heal the warrior and the thief anymore. So their box just created the black robe and then overrode it with the black garb. And this menu is an alright menu. Everybody has their own little quirks, whether they can go left or right easier. Opting to enter the white mage shop on accident there. But we will be seeing Box go over and talk to this guy next to the more decorative guy to grab the canoe. And we cannot grab the canoe until after Lich is dead. But we will be using it. Story-wise, they want you to go to Mount Golg. We're not going to do that. We're going to instead go to the Ice Cavern, simply because it has the Lava Stone, or the floater from the NES version, and it goes fast. Walking speed is considered baseline. Boat is 2 times faster. Airship's 4 times faster. So we kind of want the airship. Unfortunate part about the airship is everywhere that we have to go that we need to park is kind of far away. So it's the one downside, but there's no encounters on the airship, so we prefer it. So they're making their trip back to the boat, and they're going to be going to a river up north, and that'll take them to the ice cave once they wind around it. And the ice cave is a major point. Anything in there can kill you and kill you fast. So typically we want to have preemptives. We don't want ambushes. Ambushes are really scary at this point, especially because their last save is in front of Lich. So most of us opt to actually safety save at the start of Ice Cavern simply because of that. But they'll be making their way around, and the ice cave is a bit of a maze per se, varying paths, but runners have it memorized. It's pretty easy for them to navigate. And here we are seeing Box make a safety save. And immediately fighting unrunnables. Pisco Demons still unrunnable. They are considered a boss group. Ooh, and I think he used Thieves' Armlets on the Black Mage. And Rename getting Pisco Demons as well. So the reason that they're opting to use the White Mage for most of the items, and later on it'll be used for all of the items, is simply because they are based off the intelligence stat, and higher intelligence stat means more damage. So, ooh, and this is a bad encounter for Rename, except for thank God that it didn't do what it normally does. Generally, whenever you get a Dark Wizard ambush, they open up with Fire Aga, and it completely wipes your party. So Rename got a really lucky encounter there. So both going to be making their way through. On Box's screen, we're fixing to see the lava stone, except for we can't grab it. There's cracked ice tiles all the way around. And they drop us into this room where the first encounter towards the door is a forced encounter tile, always. And he's going to be making his way back up to the previous floor. And that will be to where he can land near the lava stone. And this will be where grinding actually starts. Accidentally trying to run from Pisco Demons. But there is a forced encounter tile with a creature called Evil Eye. And it's relatively weak with the equipment that we have, but it gives a ton of experience. So we try to let our warrior and our thief die, specifically for the fact that we want the experience on our mages and we want them to level up quickly. And the quickest way to level them up is to let 2 characters die. And really just hoping for a first turn Thundara. Not getting one. So just going to keep defending until both the warrior and the thief are dead. And this part is a little bit scary. While this is a spike tile that they do have a forced encounter on, anytime that they step off that tile, they can also get an encounter. And with only having 2 mages, you could die, you could get ambushed, or you could be locked where you can't run away, and you could end up dead. So it is a very scary point. So we're hoping for none of that. So far, it looks like they've got good HP rolls. Hoping for a little bit higher on mages. We really want them to get their HP up, simply for the fact that we need it for chaos at the end of the game. And looks like Box is getting some good HP rolls, and so is Rename. So right now they're trying to grind to level 8 and then do another fight after that, simply because we need level 19 by the time we go buy spells, and really depends on when you opt to buy spells. So we may see some route divergence there, but we need level 19 for Hilara and Teleport because they are level 5 spells, and Haste I think we need like level 12 for 12 or 15, but 15. But we need that for some of the fights later on. And haste actually works differently in this game than it does future titles, whereas it multiplies the number of hits you get instead of how many rounds on the active turn battle system you get. So we will be seeing them leave. This is actually another place where emergency exit can be good, but we just typically leave anyway because it's not that far of a walk. We want a preemptive, but we will be seeing them opt to leave the warrior dead. Reason being is we want the thief HP pool to go up as well. Warrior will be fine. Warrior tends to end up with 300 HP at the end anyway, unless for some weird reason he doesn't get good HP rolls. But They will be making their way back to the ship, and then they will be going south from Crescent Lake Stock, and they will be going to a river there to the Ryukon Desert, where they will be picking up their airship. And the airship's just a really nice thing to have. So this will be the last that we see of a lot of the ship travel encounters on Box's side. Airship, as I said before, does not have forced or any encounters. So it has become our new mode of travel. And Box will be going to close to the Citadel of Trials to land. There is actually no place near the Citadel of Trials to land. So has to park quite a ways away. Kind of an unfortunate part of the airship, but one that we deal with nonetheless. Parking on the grass tile here. And the scary part about the desert that Box is in is sandworms. If you get ambushed by them, they can cast Earthquake, and we have no protection against instant death attacks at the moment. So opting to safety save outside of the desert. Rename now grabbing the airship as well. And we'll be making the same trek to the Citadel of Trials that Box is doing. So as you can see on Box's screen, there is actually a river there that we could actually dock the boat at, but it is considerably slower. Not too much, but it is slower because the fact that you have to deal with encounters and all that, and the airship moves faster. So we prefer to use the airship in that case. But here we see Box entering the Citadel of Trials. And the trick to this maze part is if there's multiple teleporters, the southernmost teleporter is the one to use. So it trivializes this portion, but there are some unrunnable encounters in the dungeon. Hopefully we won't see them. Maybe we will. And Rename getting some unfortunate encounter. And here we see Box stepping on our Nightmail tile. While they are runnable, they're very hard to run from, so we just opt to kill them. And we treat them as an unrunnable for the most part. But we need the healing staff. It changes into another item later on. And then we will be grabbing the gauntlets because it changes into an item later on. And the gauntlets are actually useful. They cast Thundara if you use them as an item. So we simply need the healing staff for Lordly Robes and the gauntlets for the Golden Staff. Which we will actually be using closer to the end of the game for the Golden Staff. And Lordly Robes, we'll most likely see them used after grabbing the Rat's Tail here, simply because they have the added benefit of increasing a character's intelligence. And the more intelligence they have, the more damage they do for using items. and we want to see items used as little as possible, but if we get unrunnables, they're gonna have to be used. Box cleanly taking the Force Dragon zombie encounter here. And surprisingly enough, we've not seen any rare encounters so far. There are multiple 1/64 chance rare encounters throughout the game, and we're kind of wanting to see the Tyrannosaur on the world map. People who play older versions of the game think Tyro is it, which I do believe is Aloe in this game. And no, it's an actual enemy called Tyrannosaur, and it is a 1/64 encounter. So we hope we see it, and then we hope we see Warmech. Rename grabbing the rat's tail, and we'll be fighting his forced dragon zombie encounter. And from here, we go straight to the Dragon Caves, talk to Bahamut for our class change, and that will allow us to grab our spells that we need. And this is where the route sort of diverges. Some people opt to just go straight to Mount Golg. Some opt to do Oxyel, some opt to do spell shopping, some opt to do both. So it'll create a little bit of a variation, and we probably won't see too much of it, but they'll come back together at the start of Onrak, the Sunken Shrine dungeon. And it's not too much of a big deal. There's not really much of a time loss or time difference between all of that. And here we are seeing Box create the Lordly Robes. And then making his way back out. And then Rename shall be making his way over to Dragon Caves to do the exact same thing. Okay, sorry about that. Here we see they both went to go grab the fairy bottle, and they are both going to grab Oxyale. It's simply something that allows us to access the Sunken Shrine dungeon. And one of our runners slash commentators is actually a scuba diver, and he actually says this is how they breathe underwater, is they drink Oxyale, essentially. So Square did their research on it, but from here we see Box going straight to Mount Golg, it looks like, and Rename will be making his stop in Gaia to grab Oxyale as well. And when they grabbed it, they also grabbed something called Giant's Tonics. It is our safety net for the final battle. If Things versus Chaos don't go well, they don't have enough HP, Giant's Tonic will give them 200 extra max HP for that battle. So it'll be the only place that we actually see the use of Giant's Tonics. But here we see Box and Mount Gulg staying on the lava tiles as much as possible. While you're on a lava tile, you take damage, but you don't get an encounter. So just hoping not to see too many encounters. Hopefully not an ambush. An ambush would be bad, as typically you'd only have 4 HP total. Ooh. Actually, probably one of the better ambushes, but that is very scary. It could have used Blaze, and it could have completely demolished his entire party. And then his last safety save is Ice Cavern. Rename also opting to go to Mount Gulg instead of doing shopping. So they'll be using the last of their potions here. And then from here, they will fight Marilith. Just an easy couple of swipes with the Barbarian Sword, and then they will be doing their shopping. And we'll see if Marilith goes down pretty easily. Yeah, and then 3 swipes with the Barbarian Sword, and she is down. So from here, we'll see the crystal light up. And then the second of the 4 cutscenes. Rename getting some unfortunate encounters. Gonna have about 3 HP total. Opting to heal here, which is a bit scary, but not too bad. Some good rolls on his HP though, so that will help him for the chaos fight. And from here, we will see Rename fight Marilith. Hopefully gets a good Marilith as well. This will be the last time that we actually do see Elfheim on Boxmeister's screen, other than Rename doing the same shopping. We come here to grab the black magic spell Haste, simply because it's needed for the final battle. Unfortunately, his ninja is not high enough level to grab it as well. And then he shall be going to Melmond for his heal aura and his and this is the second to last time that we will see Melmond. So from here, they've done most of the shopping that they need to do. They will be going to Onrak, and it is for the 3rd dungeon, the Sunken Shrine. And the Sunken Shrine is kind of a maze if you play it casually. Getting an unrunnable Ice Gigas Winterwolf encounter here on Box's screen. But speedrun wise, not too much of an issue. There are 2 paths going into it. Whenever you enter, you can go left and it takes you to Kraken, or you can go right and it takes you to an item that you need, known as the Rosetta Stone, or the slab in the NES version. And Rename's Thief cannot get haste as well. So we will be seeing solo haste on both of them. And it simply just takes a little bit more time, rather than double hasting, which is actually really nice. Saves you around in the chaos fight. But here we will be seeing the same shopping done, and Box is now entering the Sunken Shrine. So Sunken Shrine has a lot of unrunnable. We typically don't like to run into them, but if we do, we have multiple avenues that we can get out of. Mostly the Mage's Staff and the Black Robe, or Gauntlets, I should say. And here we will be going right for the Rosetta Stone. And as I said, we tend to have it memorized as running where we're going. There was a new strat found, saves a tiny bit of time, not too much. It really depends on your menuing, but it is a little bit safer. There is actually an item that we need that we grab on the second floor that is actually on this floor as well. It's like 4 tiles faster, has no forced encounter tile around it, and we can do our menuing for it in the same menu that we actually use teleport. But a lot of runners don't opt for it because there's a lot more encounters on the 4th floor than there are on the 2nd floor. So it's a toss-up. It's really not too much of a time save, but it's runner's preference. And it was actually found out during this tournament too. One of our runners who has all of the maps looked at it, and we were trying to find a different route, and that was brought up. So, but here we see Box opting not to go for 4th floor light axe. And realistically, all it is safety. Light axes for survival vests, and we kind of like those. They are more defensive and they still have the agility that we need. And yes, they are going faster. There was a unfortunate mishap in the early game where Box's PSP crashed and then his TV crashed. But here we see Box getting an unrunnable, and using gauntlets just demolishes them. Neither one of them going for 4th floor light axe. And Rename getting pretty much the same unrunnable. And using Judgment Staff instead. That is a bit slower, but still works all the same. So getting another unrunnable Sahagin Prince and Chief encounter, but just easy to take care of. And here we will be seeing the 2nd floor light axe, and to the left and the bottom of this box is actually forced encounters. So we go to the right side of the box, and we simply need that for survival vests. They are rather nice to have. As you can see, it is one that will actually work on the shield slot, so we put it there. The Lordly Robes and Ribbon are also able to be used on the shield slot as well. And the reason we don't put Lordly Robes on the armor slot is because if it's actually on the armor slot, it has regen property, and regen takes a little bit of time after each turn. And Rename opting to walk into the forced encounter tile. Thankfully, only getting a white shark, so not bad. And then we see Box on the last floor here. It is the Kraken floor, and should be rather quick making way through. And Kraken here is actually one of the easiest of the elemental fiends. He really doesn't have anything that hurts too badly, and Barbarian Swords just demolish him. So here he's using ink, and all it does is it casts darkness, which not too big of a deal. Just easy to hack and slash your way through it. Let's see here. So here on Box's screen, we see the last of our cutscenes. Rename opting to just attack his way through that unrunnable encounter. And another water elemental. Water elementals alone are unrunnable. If they're paired with something else, they're runnable. Just a weird gimmick of the game. But here we see Box going up to Waterfall Cave. And we need it for the ribbon and another part of our final fetch quest, the Warp Cube. And it allows us access to the second to last dungeon, Flying Fortress, where we will fight Tiamat. And Box is able to run from that nightmare encounter. So Box is actually making some pretty good time through here. Race is still pretty close, as they're not really that far apart. RNG could still swing anything back in anybody's favor. I'm hoping for simultaneous Chaos Shrine entry, but I highly doubt I'll get that. As a commentator and also a runner, I like seeing close matches. They are the most fun to watch, simply because anything can happen. It can swing anything anybody's way. But here we see Box grabbing the ribbon, and it's the first item that we get that we actually want to use. We want it equipped. However, where it's equipable at, we don't want it equipped there. We actually want it on the shield slot. So we turn it into the Gigantax, and from there we turn it into the ribbons on shield slot, simply because the fact of we have a free shield slot. And the ribbons afford us half elemental damage and protection from instant death attacks, which comes very in handy for the Chaos fight, as he does have Earthquake. But here, Box will be making his way back to his ship, or his airship, and here he will be going on the last part of the fetch quest over to Melman to learn Lufane. Just a couple of hops, some arm movements, and new language. From there, he'll be going to Lufenia, where he will grab the chime, and that'll allow him access to the Mirage Tower, which he needs for Flying Fortress. So, Rename getting some fairly bad encounters in Waterfall Cave. Waterfall Cave, I do believe, has the highest encounter rate. So it's really just eating up time. But here we see Box teleporting out of Melman, and that is the last time we will see of Melman. From here, world ship movement, or world map movement in the airship is going to find Lufane, and Box is now making this trip. There are a couple of unrunnables we don't want to see, but we can take care of pretty quickly. This is one of them. With the 2 Lordly Robes, White Mage has enough intelligence for Mage Staff to just completely wipe them. And from here, we will be going to Lufenia. And it is what we need for the Chime. And Lufenia is a kind of terrible place. It has the worst RNG out of any place in this game, equaling the Cavern of Earth or the Bat Cave, simply because, as you can see, it's a lot of these narrow passageways, and there's seas, which Fox had good luck with the first one and then bad luck with the second. But here he grabs the Chime and will teleport out and then make a quick stop over to Mirage Tower. Rename, now out of the Waterfall Cave, will be making his way to Melman to grab his new language, and we'll be taking it to go grab the Chime. Box getting another Minotaur zombie encounter and trying to run it. It is unrunnable. So we will be seeing another use of the Mage's Staff. Makes pretty short work of it. But this is the last of the long treks that we will see with the airship movement and another Minotaur zombie encounter. I think he's 3 for 4 at the moment on those. But Rename now making his way over as well, and they will be 5. And Rename now getting his Minotaur zombie encounters. When there's 2 of them, it's typically faster just to use the Barbarian's sword. But here Box is going to the Mirage Tower. Quickest place that we can park is right there. 2 Minotaur zombie encounters for Rename now as well. Mirage Tower has an interesting enemy called the Vampire. If anybody remembers that from Cavern of Earth, if the Vampire is by itself, it's unrunnable, but if it's in a group, it's runnable. And it's also just a weird quirk of the game. Speaking of vampires, and here we see Box running from them. Other than that, Blue Dragon encounters in this dungeon are 1 in 64, except for Spike Tile on the next floor, which bars entry to Flying Fortress. Rename Dancing with the NPC. And here we see the forced Blue Dragon encounter. And it's just a simple barbarian slash away from death. But other than that, Rename is on his trek back, getting Minotaur zombies as well. And Rename will be entering Mirage Tower once he gets back to the airship. And we'll be making the same trek through that Box did. Hopefully we get some blessed RNG for Warmac. Always want to see Warmac. Warmac is the Final Fantasy 1 validation chest. If you also watch Link to the Past randomizers, which Speed Game also hosts. And unfortunately, wolves are still wolves, and they're pretty hard to run from. Judgment Staff going off first. typically, if our mages don't run, we're not running. Mages at this point, with Lust Dagger and all of the equipment they have the highest agility. But Box is on an interesting floor here. It is one that continuously loops. So if you continue to go left, you will always end up teleported back to the previous floor. So typically we go 2 left, 2 up, and that takes us to the teleporter to the next floor, or any variation of that. 90-degree angles. But here we are on the hype floor, hype bridge, no war mech. But it is Tiamat's floor, and it has a low encounter rate. Rename opting to park further away. Yeah, we really hope for war mech, but we still have a chance to get it. It's not over until Box leaves this floor, and then there's still a possibility of Rename getting it. But here we see Tiamat, and depending, this may be the first use of it is. And as I said before, haste just doubles the amount of attacks that the person that is hasted gets per turn. So the little hit meter above their heads whenever they attack, it is doubled. And that is unfortunate. Box really wanted the level up from Tiamat on his Black Mage. His Black Mage is looking pretty anemic at the moment with 165. Whereas Rename's HP on his Black Mage is looking fantastic. There may be a Giant's Tonic on that, but I highly doubt it. The Thief, however, may get one, unless it gets more HP. But here on Box's screen, we are seeing the final cutscene. Final unskippable one for the bosses. There's one more unskippable one at the entry to the final dungeon. And that'll be about it. Pretty much cutscene time's over. So Rename opting to safety save inside of Flying Fortress. Bad things could happen. And a return of Evil Eye, which we've not seen since Ice Cavern, and it is still unrunnable. Another Evil Eye for Rename, and no war mech. That is unfortunate, but I think we've only seen it 2 or 3 times so far. Not a bad thing. We just like to see it. It is a fun, since it is so rare. But here we see Box entering the first and last dungeon of the game. The Chaos Shrine is where we went at the beginning of the game, got our Judgment Staff, knocked Garland down. And a lot of new players think this cutscene is showing you where the final dungeon is. And this cutscene is actually for the PSP exclusive dungeon, Labyrinth of Time, where the new super boss is for this game, Chronodia. But we don't see it in any percent. We just glitch the items from the dungeon and from that boss. And we don't need to see it. From here, we see Box entering the true final dungeon and opting to safety save. Simply because this dungeon can still troll. Hopefully we still get a war mech on rename screen. But Box is fighting white dragons, and white dragons are a major pain. We never want to see them. Simply because they control. And Ice Storm still does quite a bit of damage. So here we are seeing green dragons. They are unrunnable. They can be a major pain as well. And this dungeon has the most unrunnables. Most of the dragons, I think, except for white dragons, are unrunnable. Purple worms are unrunnable. So on and so forth. So just really hoping for Chaos Shrine to be nice as names are set up. But on Box's screen, we will be seeing the first of the forced encounter enemies, the Death Eye, and it'll go down like it's. And then from there, we will be seeing the first and only use of the loot, which plays the crystal theme, but our audio is on Rename's feed, so we're not going to hear it until Rename's there. But from here, we are seeing Box try to go through the Chaos Shrine. Rename also not getting a warm mech. But dragon zombies are still unrunnable. So Mage's Staff just wipes them out pretty quickly. And here's where we see Final Fantasy 1's RNG just really not be friendly. It likes to do what it wants. So the more unrunnables they get, the more time it takes. And we really don't want to see unrunnables. Purple Worm's also unrunnable, but only 2 of them, so Barbarian Swords make quick work of them. Ooh, and an ambush White Dragon encounter. So here we are still seeing that White Dragons still do quite a bit of damage, even with the damage from the ribbons. So opting to try to kill off a couple of the dragons. Well, this gives Rename a really good chance to catch up, and if Box wipes here, which he shouldn't, that'll be Rename a definite chance to catch up. I do believe that would put Rename in the lead at the moment. But makes quick work of them. Still in the lead for now. And just opting to heal everybody up. But now we see Boxes on the Earth floor. We call it the Earth floor because it has a lot of the enemies from the Earth Shrine. And including its unrunnables, it also hosts Lich too, or Litra. And we hope that he doesn't use Flare, but Final Fantasy 1 is Final Fantasy 1, so it does what it wants. Rename opting to use Judgment Stuff on the Green Dragons here. And Rename fighting the Death Eye and taking it down pretty easily. Here we will be hearing the loot instead of just saying it. And on Box's screen, we will be seeing the first Lich fight for the Chaos Shrine. Only Lich fight for the Chaos Shrine. Unless he decides to step off the tile and back onto it. And in that case, we will see another Lich. Oh, and getting some Earth Elementals right before the Lich fight. And Rename getting unrunnable Wonder Wolf encounter. And opting to haste the Thief because of the fact that just want to do as much damage as possible. And that takes care of Lich too. Pretty easy, no flare seen, and that's what we hope for. So here we see Box on the fire floor. I do believe all elementals except for earth elementals are unrunnable. air elementals are unrunnable. But makes quick work of him with the Black Robe, and then is making his way onto Merilith. Whereas Rename is opting the Judgment Staff, the White Dragons. Not really a bad idea. It actually looks like Rename will be in position to not have to use a Giant's Tonic. Box, on the other hand, entering the fight with Merilith, hasting again. Simply because it gives us more damage, and we kind of need the more damage. And now entering the water for Box. And Rename just getting some very unfortunate encounters here. Hoping to see him catch up. Box will be using the Black Robe against the water elementals. A lot of people would figure lightning would be the best thing against them. However, they have no ground, so the lightning would just sort of whirl around with the water, whereas if you freeze it, it freezes. And Kraken fight, same as the last one, just gonna go through, attack it with Barbarian Swords. Only difference is a haste on the Ninja, and should make short work of it. So opting to heal up here, Rename going into the Lich fight while Box is going into the Tiamat fight. Simply gonna make some short work of Tiamat and Lich, hopefully. Rename was in a little bit of a scary position there with the Ninja and the Black Mage dead, but Barbarian Sword just rips through it anyway. So healing up, and then Rename will be making it to the fire floor, and Box will be making it to the last floor of the Chaos Shrine, where we find our first and last boss, Garland, who is also known as Chaos. So there will be a Giant's Tonic used on the Black Mage on the first turn. And then just some final menuing, adding the Golden Staff, putting clothes back on the White Mage, simply to make her slower. We wanted to go at the end of the turn order, so she can heal up any damage that Chaos does. But other than that, putting the Barbarian Sword on the Black Mage, and we will be doing some menuing here in the first part of the fight. And that'll be just to set us up to hold X and win. So, first turn we will be seeing the use of a Giant's Tonic and then haste on the Ninja, Giant's Tonic on the Black Mage, and White Mage will be using Healara every turn. After that, it'll be using haste on the Warrior, and then haste on the Black Mage, and then just attacking and healing. Other than that, it'll be Rename trying to catch up. Kraken is down. Just have the air floor left. Hopefully, no one counts. Well, Box is getting the spell cycle from Chaos. They just increase in damage throughout the spell cycle, each one worse than last. But with the HP that he's got, he should be fine. Doing his last haste here, and Rename fighting Tiamat. So the benefit for Rename here is he should be able to just dual attack in his first round, and have Black Mage just use Giant's Tonic or Haste. He made Giant's Tonic for safety. But Box is in hold X to win mode, and we shall be seeing a timeout of him here shortly. And Rename is on the Chaos floor, so doing his final menus, saving, just in case Chaos trolls. And that is a win for Boxmeister. That is a real time of 1:35.47 and an SRL time of 1:35.47. That hardly ever happens. And I'm going to see if Box wants to jump in for an interview. Okay, so.
Hi. Oh.
So I seen you added your comment early game RNG. It's really bad. But
yeah,
GG.
It was terrible. God, this match.
Well, it's funny because you were behind Rename like the entire time, and then just you guys caught up to each other at Earth Cave, and RNG just went.
I noticed. I had the restream on my second stream, so I noticed that Rename wasn't getting that well of a good RNG either. So yeah.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be your RNG at the first part where your PSP crashed.
Oh god, my screen suddenly went black and I rebooted my PSP. Okay, it's fine. I switched back to my TV, and then you basically got the screen that I posted in the Discord, the split screen.
Yeah, because I was commentating because Rename was ahead of you at the time, and I look over and I'm like, oh, I wonder what happened. And then all of a sudden I see your PSP start back up, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
Luckily it was it resolved itself when I turned my PSP off, took the memory stick out and put it back in.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we actually had time for you guys to do a restart. My voice is actually kind of shot from it, but it's all good. I'm so happy to see the race be a close race and not a forfeit. I always feel bad when I see forfeits, but
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, the moment my PSP crashed, I thought for a second, because my PSP showed the right screen, I thought for a second that my TV actually had borked. But luckily I saw the same thing on my capture feed, so it meant that something went wrong in the cable.
Right.
So yeah.
So yeah, how do you feel that run went after the bad RNG that you got early game?
Well, it's. I mean, my RNG over the entire run wasn't that great. It was a train wreck of a ride, but I mean, at some point I was like, yeah, we'll see where this ends up. Oh, it looks like my opponent has finished as well.
Yeah, they got an SRL or a real time of 139 even and an SRL 139.6. But we will be seeing if Rename wants to come in for an interview. Comment on his is, well, got to have the worst run event ever eventually.
Yeah,
I mean, I have a few things I could say about that. It's not my run, so it's not that bad.
Basically, we both had bad RNG. My God.
Okay, so gonna pull Rename in here. Welcome.
Hello.
So, how are you feeling about that run? You guys both had train wreck runs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's FF1. I can't complain too much because there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, like I tend to say, somebody had asked on one of my previous comments, is there any RNG manipulation in this game? Only RNG manipulation is how badly the game manipulates the runners.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. At the restart, I also goofed. I forgot to set my party correctly, so that cost me a lot. That cost me good on the first split as well.
I do believe you both did, because I was looking at it and I was like, oh god.
Yeah.
So,
actually, the first one we did, I was like a minute ahead of my splits when we had reset. So I was like, oh dang, this run's going good. But I mean, it's for a race, so I was like, yeah, sure, I'll reset, no big deal. And I paid for it with this run here, but it's all good. I'm glad we were able to get our race in.
Have you seen the screen cap? What happened to my capture? Rename.
Yeah, it wasn't very good.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it's in the Discord, but I want to say congratulations to you both. You both are at 3 wins and 1 loss each now. So it does look like you guys are going to be moving to the next round. Your other opponent, unfortunately, had to back out of the tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that happens. But yeah, I mean, we still wanted to give a good showing on our final group stage match. Shame that RNG wasn't exactly agreeing with us.
Yeah.
But I mean, I have to say it was definitely a very good showing for you guys.
I got 2 fire elementals in a row on the Chaos Shrine. That's so rare to happen.
Yeah, it is. Anything that you guys would like to say before we end this and hand the channel back off to Speed Gaming?
Not really. I mean, it's always enjoyable. I mean, regardless of how bad the run is, you know, it's still a pretty entertaining run, or else I wouldn't do it. And it's been a fun tournament so far.
It's a fun tournament. The game, however, likes to play with me.
Yeah, you're pretty much at its whim.
Yeah. Box, do you have any shout outs or anything?
I like to give shout outs to my good old buddy Cruel who got me into this game. Shout outs to shout outs to him, definitely. He's the reason I am participating in this tournament today as well. Last year I joined in and it was a ton of fun, and this year so far it's also been fun, and I'm really looking forward to elimination brackets.
Yeah, definitely.
134 flat. Yeah.
I personally have to give shout outs to Feasel, Speed Gaming, Speed Gaming crew. They've hosted most of the matches for this tournament. They are a pleasure to work with. Definitely bringing some quality streams and always giving us a really good showing for the tournament. So definitely follow the Speed Gaming channel, subscribe if you want. Anything really helps. They definitely deserve the love. They're hosting a ton of tournaments right now, or in the Blind Forest, Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Mario 3 randomizer, and a ton of other stuff. So definitely check them out, give them a follow, show them some love. Definitely follow the runners. They had really good race today, even if it wasn't their best. And I do believe that's it for me. Oh, and the FF1 Discord and staff there, because definitely for putting this together. It's been a pleasure to commentate and even run. So shout outs to them. And if you want to learn, we do have a Discord, we do have guides. Feel free to join. We all help out. So, but that is it for me, unless you guys have anything else.
Shout outs to the commentator. Shout outs to you, the commentator. Well done.
Definitely agree.
Oh.
And restreamers, whole crew, shout outs.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I actually have my match tonight at 8 p.m. I do believe it's on Speed Gaming too. That's what the schedule looks like. But I have my match there, and I'm hoping to have as good of a showing as you guys did. So
we'll see.
Good luck.
Well, thank you, and thanks for the run. But that is it for us, I do believe. And thank everybody for watching.
All right. GG's.